Ladies and gentlemen, rise up, rise up. The Scottish Falcons are back, episode 18. Your boys are thrilled as always to be here. We have a great show planned for you tonight. But before we kind of break down everything that we're getting into, there's plenty down in the description box to keep you occupied, and there's been a hell of a lot of happenings from Flowery Branch. And I'm glad, as always, to be joined by my good friend and brother, the real and the original and best Scottish Falcon, Des Stevenson. Des, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I got to say, I'm feeling a wee bit tired tonight, so I've got the old faithful, a wee cup of coffee, and it can only be in one cup, the Atlanta
Absolutely.
Falcons cup.
Absolutely.
So that's keeping me. I think that's keeping me awake tonight. So, but yeah, I mean, as you say, it's been like just a whirlpool of news, constant bang, bang, bang. I mean, you get to the cuts and you get to the 5 o'clock Eastern time when the roster's announced, and it's just all morning. It's just constant.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it takes you a bit of time to actually sit down and work out who's there, who's where, who's off, who's on, and I mean, it's crazy. So.
And then you add waivers onto that as well, and then you've got an extra day of, oh God, are we going to get them back? And even if we get the chance to get them back, are they going to sign the ones we want? And so on and so forth. But as I say, we always like to touch base back to the family first off before we get into the real topic. So first couple of shout outs, we've got Tony Hall dropping the red and blacks. As always, we love to see it. We've also got, just underneath him, we've got Southside Ricky, one of the frequent flyers almost at this point, even though he's more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. What's going on, everyone in the chat, and my Scottish brothers? Falcons Nation over everybody. You already know my brother. And Miss Sonia as well, dropping those red and blacks as well. Lady Bird's always in the house, showing love, showing support. And we always, as I say, show love and support for always the best way to open and close a show. I'm sure you'd agree with that, Des, is to show love back.
Absolutely. As I say again, so blessed to support such an amazing team. I mean, I love this team. I love Atlanta Falcons more than a lot of things in my life. There's probably one in my son. Nothing can touch him, but my Atlanta Falcons are right up there. And we're only a week away, just over a week away from the Tampa Bay game, and I mean,
it's 10 days today, brother. It's getting exciting.
It's excitement and nervousness and anxiety and terror, and I mean, you just don't know. I wish I could. I mean, honestly, I wish I could just fast forward to a year, find out, and see that we've won the Super Bowl, and just sit back and just enjoy this year. But we all know with the Atlanta Falcons, it's still a roller coaster. So, but
that's the beauty of it, and we've kind of signed up for the thrill of the ride, and all the bruises and bumps that might come along, and there have been plenty. I'm sure you'll agree. I mean, you've been a fan from 2008, and I think I was just in there before you, maybe the season before, maybe about 2007, and like, we're not even what you'd consider OG fans, although we like to read up on the history of the team we love so much. But I mean, even in the relatively short space of time that we've been fans, there's been tears of joy and tears of misery along the way. But we're here for it because you and I both know that we'll be here to crack that bottle together when they lift the Lombardi for the first time. So it's a special feeling.
And again, it's last year I felt really excited because we had Kirk Cousins, and I'm the same. I'm even more excited that we've got Michael Penix Jr. And again, you look at the team. Yeah, it's been a wee bit nervous in the last few days, obviously with all the news that's come out. But you still look at the team and you think, is this team better than what it was last year? And you see that we went 6-3 at one point before it all collapsed. And you think to yourself, the team is better now. I think probably it's going to be between Tampa Bay and Falcons about winning the NFC South. And I think it's just down to who's got the least bad injury record, I think. So,
I think so. And I mean, we'll get into it a little bit later on during some of the breaking news. But I mean, we've not been the most blessed when it comes to injuries this off-season, especially not in terms of ongoing prognosis. But we have got a few guys coming off an injury too, but we'll break it all down for you guys as well. And I agree with you completely, Ricky, down in the chat. I'm not going to put that up because there's ladies present, but I do agree. I would like to see a complete smacking around the place. I would like to see us ragdoll Tampa, but again, it all depends on how fit our guys are going into game one. And as I say, how structurally intact we can keep and how strong we can keep that interior offensive line, because I'll give credit where it's due, even to a rival, as much as it galls me to do so. But Cansey and Vita Vea is no joke. Those are some big nasty boys. So we're ready for it though, I think. But yeah, let's, as I say, get into some of this breaking news, Des. So we'll say first, we'll let you take the first one. So we were speaking a lot in the back about obviously the biggest probably talking point of the off season so far, I would say, and that's the ongoing prognosis and injury to the leg of Caleb McGarry, our right tackle. Now, as you see, he needed assistance. This is a different instance, but he was carted off the field. But from what we hear from Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, season's done. A high school issue. Do you know? Had you heard anything about this? I mean, because the high school thing is kind of news to me. But how do you feel? I mean, I mean, it doesn't surprise me playing the position that he does and being as big as he is that it isn't a lingering issue. But I mean, take a few minutes and talk, if you will. I mean, how are you feeling about that news and that kind of blow that we know we won't see Caleb this year?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody remembers the meme where Arthur Smith is standing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how I feel when I heard that Caleb McGarry was out. Again, there's things that you start to learn. I didn't know that if you go into IR and they don't designate you a time to return, that you're out for the season. So a few of the Atlanta reporters had jumped on that really quickly, and at that point we knew he's out for the season. I mean, probably the O-line was the part where you were really, really comfortable with all the players we had. You were really uncomfortable by the depth that we had.
Yes.
And then obviously you lose Drew Dolman. And I think Brian Newsell's a great fit just to go straight into centre. And then Caleb McGarry goes down. And I don't worry so much about, obviously, he's blindside. I don't worry so much about protecting Michael Penix Jr. I think it's the fact that what impact is it going to have on the run game? That's the biggest worry I've got. Because effectively, it's the guys that are effectively getting everybody out the road that's creating these spaces that to allow the Bijans and the Tyler Algiers to get the space to go. As the school thing, I mean, again, I've always watched most of Caleb McGarry's interviews. He's not one to jump up for interviews. You'll get the odd interview maybe once or twice a year kind of thing. But I can't remember ever hearing that there was a historic injury. A few fans.
Not to my knowledge, he's always been quite healthy, and that's something that I feel like's been a bit of a trend throughout the offensive line, especially leading by Jake Matthews' example, as we've said before on the show. Before we do go on about tackles, though, just to continue to shout out some of the people down in the chat. So Miss Christie, always one of the first people we see in the building again. Lady Birds always jump in early, jump in strong. They fly in as a flock, and we're glad to have you as always. My man Derek, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Good to see you as always. And of course, the boss lady, the first lady of AFN herself, Miss Maggie T. Rise up, international birds. Please share this out. Yeah, as I say, every like, every share, every comment, every question, and everyone who appears agrees to put themselves out here for us and appear on the show to talk Falcons, because that's what we all love to do. We can't begin to tell you enough how much that means to us, especially just because we had this little idea, kind of this little seed, if you will, kind of playing around in the back of our heads, Maggie and I, for the last couple of years. And it was like, no, we need to really make the voice of the fans. And I mean, I could pull up the logo, and I think I will, because it demonstrates my point here. The original AFN and logo here for YouTube says the voice of the fans. And I said to her about two years ago now, it needs to be the voice of all the fans. And that's what we are trying to bring here. So again, all the support and love, all the as I say, we fall just at the right time of the day to get you through your work day. So whether you're in the car, whether you're grinding away, or whether you're at home with the kids, we love to be your source for all things Falcons. So it's a great honour. Des?
I mean, you got to say, I mean, Christy, that warms my heart. I mean, it really does. The fact that two guys that are effectively sitting at the other end of the world talking about the thing we love, which is the Atlanta Falcons, and there's people all over the world sitting watching us talk nonsense about the team we love, you know what I mean? And that's what we do. We just I mean, we're on episode 18, and most of these go for 2 hours at a time. So, and there's always stuff to discuss. But when you see that people, that Christy saying that it helps us through the day, that's fantastic. That warms my heart. It really does.
Truly. To give you one more little British piece of vernacular, it would bring a tear to a glass eye.
Absolutely.
It truly is what it's all about. So thank you all so much again. Now, just as I say, while we're on the subject of tackles, not only did we get the bad news of Caleb going down, but as we know, 6 to 8 weeks, we'll be missing Storm Norton, who essentially would be the backup swing tackle for either right side or left side if you were looking at moving Jake. Because as Jake Matthews has said in the preseason training, we don't really see as a blind side. We're all comfortable on the left or the right, especially because we have a more mobile QB than what you've seen in preseason when you get MPJ out there as well. So you have that X factor as well. So when you're talking about, obviously, tackles, you can't dispute the importance of having hard-hitting tackles when you've got a mobile quarterback. You need to give them that little bit of time. Although saying that, unlike Kirk Cousins, we have a quarterback who can get it out in, I think it was 2.17 seconds. So that's quite an immense release speed. So if you want to kind of go into that a little bit, how would you feel, obviously, the adjustment's going to be for the linemen, knowing now that they've got someone who's a far superior athlete behind them? Do you think it gives them that confidence to maybe go and headhunt a little bit more, Des?
Yeah, I mean the one thing that always came out on the when we signed Michael Penix Jr. The one thing that came out from his workout in Seattle, I think it was in Washington, was that how quick he got the ball out of his hands, and how fast the ball moved, and you've seen that a few times in the 3 games last year, how they a lot of the wide receivers just weren't used to the quickness of the ball coming out of his hands. Now they've had pre-season to work on that, but as I say, I mean, if they can protect and I know Caleb McGarry's out, but if they can protect Kirk Cousins, who is literally an old-fashioned pocket passer, then the benefit you've got, and again, you watch some of the games that he was actually in last year, Michael Penix Jr. There was a few times where the pocket broke down and he moved.
Yeah.
I've said before that he reads the game, and he seems to have he literally future-proofs what he's doing, because he looks and he can see what's going to happen. And we've seen this when he was at Washington. He was very, very rarely sacked, because he sees when a play's broke down very, very quickly. You'll see him literally just spinning into the ground, and he sees when a pocket's broke down. So I've said numerous times that I think we're going to see a more mobile Michael Penix this year. And with the fact that we've now lost Caleb McGarry, and no doubt the O-line is going to be weaker for that, no doubt at all. What I would also say as well, to all the Caleb McGarry haters that are out there, and there's still plenty of haters out there that don't like this man, just see the difference once we actually don't have him. Because the protection that he gives and the run protection that he gives as well is beyond fantastic from my point of view.
I agree. I feel like he's been underrated in a lot of cases by a lot of people. But I agree with both you and Southside Ricky are saying here. Everyone seems to be concerned about the right tackle, but we're willing to get rid of McGarry early in the off season, when I've been saying all along he was the second most important person on the O-line. I feel like it can't be stated enough. In terms of who is the leader of that offensive line, then you would definitely say Chris Lindstrom. But Chris Lindstrom cannot be as effective, and Lindstrom himself would tell you this. Lindstrom himself would not be as effective without Caleb McGarry on his right hip. And this is what isn't stated enough around the league by some of the press and things like that, who are talking on a purely position by position basis. I feel like we are top three when both men are healthy. We are top three in terms of right side pass protection in the entire NFL. So I definitely agree with both of you there. And as Tony says, the grind is going to be worth it when we lift that Lombardi. As I say, I don't know if you watched the episode. I think it was 2 episodes ago, or possibly the last one, where I put up my mock-up of the ring. We're already well into existence.
I've said before, I want 283 diamonds in that ring. 283, and we can shove it right up the Patriots. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. We want Louis. We want to find Louis on social and get him in the chat specifically for that night. We want him to be front and centre. So if you watch this episode back, Louis, you heard it here first, kid.
but going back to the O-line, I mean, the O-line went from being the part of the team that you had no concern for to effectively being the part of the team now that you're concerned for. It's just typical Falcons. It's just the way it is. And again, Raheem Morris said today in his presser that there was a thought about moving Matthew Bergeron into that position because he done tackle at college. But one of the reporters then asked, would that then mean that the two parts are so effectively you're then taking the one of the stronger points, you're moving him to another part, which means that the two positions would be weaker. And Raheem said, yeah, absolutely. That's something we're having to look at. He did say that I think Elijah Wilkinson, Brandon Parker, and Jack Nelson were all in the running. Which, I mean, listen, if you wear a Falcons top, then I'll support you. But I mean, the thought of Jack Nelson playing in an NFL team at the moment is just terrifying.
Yeah, he could develop, but as you say, at the moment, it's not a good notion. Again, shout out to the chat, and we even have a rival in, but it's a civil rivalry, and he's always here to rep the family. Good to see you on the chat as always, Bucks. A bit of a frequent flyer yourself now at this rate. I did see that you guys have Tristan Wirfs out, so you can update me a little bit about that, because I know you were saying 4 starters out. And a shout out also to Stina B, another ladybird in the house. Rise up, ladybirds. You were saying, Des, sorry.
Yeah, there was another. Is it Cade Otten?
Yeah, I think he's on the O-line as well.
Yeah, he's out. He's out for the week 1 as well, and that's what I said earlier. It's literally a case of who wins NFC South is going to be who has the least injuries.
Yes, and then this is what I'm saying is it's good to have a mobile quarterback in the NFC South, because it's one of the divisions that you find the rivalry, kind of like an AFC North or an AFC West. You find that the rivalry games are particularly visceral. For want of a better word.
Mine starts with a V, but it'd be vicious. You know what I mean? Especially if it's the Aints.
Yeah, for sure. There we go. Thank you for that. No Wirfs, no Godwin, no Otto, no Jalen. Okay, thank you very much. And I heard something about one of your DBs, your big time DB being out as well. I don't pay a lot of attention to the Bucks. you tell, but no, you definitely said something that you have a bit of trouble in the DB room as well. But yeah, I think if we've had some trouble in the O-line, you guys have had more. I will give you that. So it's been a tough season all round, off season all round in the NFC South. But we'll move on, because we have got a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel when you're talking about tackles. Now, I'll admit I had to throw my hands up and do a bit of reading here. But the Falcons have traded a conditional 7th round pick from 2027. That's not the draft upcoming, but the year after, to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for former 6th round offensive tackle Michael Jarrell. So do you know anything about this guy before I rattle off some of the stats, Des?
Yeah, all I know is it was a 2023 4th round pick. And yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is that, I mean, I'm looking forward to the college football starting. And to be honest, I don't really have a team in college football, because I just love watching college football. But when it comes to the NFL, it's Atlanta Falcons or bust for me. It's not
100%. And when it comes to college football, just for posterity, I'm going to throw up one of those. But you know me, I'm probably going to get some hate down in the comments now, because I know there's a lot of Georgia Bulldogs, and I know we'll see you later this year again. So
have you seen the new Bijan Robinson advert with all the mascots?
Oh no, I haven't yet.
I think it talks about it's the uniforms, putting the uniforms on. They call it something. And he puts it on, and then he starts shouting exuberantly and with the Texas top on, and then you see all the mascots, all the different mascots all appearing. Then just as I say, the one thing I would say about Bijan is the media are falling in love with him. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he's everywhere. So
100%, and he's definitely photogenic and catches the camera well. We'll put it like that. Just a shout out to the chat, because I need to kind of hold things up for a wee second here, because we've got one of the frequent flyers of the AFNI in the house. So a special shout out to LaMarcus. He's known by many names. He is known by Jael. He's known by Georgia Texas Boy. He, as I say, a man of many names and a man for all seasons. If you are interested tonight, if you're not too busy, the link is in the mods chat, or as I say, you're more than welcome on Saturday. You did say you had a little bit of time, but as I say, just getting this logo up now for you, because we are thrilled to announce that, as I say, he will be our special stadium correspondent for the coming season. So that's the logo, and I will pull that up as an overlay as well. So there you go. A shout out to your service as well. So we always appreciate, as I say, Maggie has said many times that we're being listened to around some of the bases around the world for the troops. So it's an honour that you have, as I say, served your country. We don't talk politics, but we are glad to have you, sir. As I say, always repping the Illinois, the Georgia, and the Texas somehow. He says to me even he doesn't know how that came about, but as I say, we're thrilled to have you. So thank you for joining us, and we will hopefully see you on chat very, very soon.
What I would say as well, just quickly when you're talking about subscribing and everything, mate, that Atlanta Falcons Nation LLC are sitting at 70 below 4,000. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are watching all the shows that go on, all the fantastic shows that aren't subscribed. So please try. We've got 10 days until the start of the season. Let's get Atlanta Falcons Nation LLC up to 4,000 subscribers. For us, for the Atlanta Falcons Nation International, we're sitting at 71 subscribers, and I've looked at some of our videos. Most of our videos are getting 200, 300, 400 views. So there's plenty of people out there that are watching the shows and they're not subscribing. So as the season comes in, we'll effectively be jumping on maybe after a game, big news story. So if you're subscribed, you'll obviously get the notification that we're going live. So again, if any are watching this, subscribe to the two channels, and you'll get us on both channels.
Because as I say, we love to spread the love around. So as I say, you'll see all the people and the panelists that you've come to know and love, all the banter that you've come to know and love, the real takes, the education sessions, the school days where they're needed, but also the love and the passion and the devotion of a diehard Falcons fan, and that's what you really need. We a little bit of comic relief sprinkled in here and there, and that's what we try to give you. I also find out that we're seen as a little bit of a culture show. So to some, I hear that there's some of you down in the chat actually practicing your vernacular. And your Scottish phrases, and we won't name any names, will we, Maggie?
Listen, if you want to know about a good tonic wine, because tonic wine's good for you, if you want to know about a good tonic wine that's available in Scotland, we can discuss that if you're ever talking about health, you know what I mean? I remember just quickly, my mother used to, because there's a thing in Scotland called Buckfast. And it's like the poison that all the younger boys like to drink, but it's called Buckfast tonic wine. So it's effectively a tonic wine. So my mother once said, God, if this place ever goes under a volcano or is kind of found hundreds of thousands of years from now, and they find all these smashed bottles of tonic wine, and they'll turn around and say to themselves, God, these people in this place was really into their health, all this tonic wine that they used to drink. So.
Well, why is there a layer of black ash basalt about 6 feet thick? Because you know how highly flammable alcohol is.
Yes.
Lava plus alcohol, dangerous mix. But just in terms of some of the stats for Michael Jarrell here. So these companies courtesy of NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. So he was drafted as a 6th round pick in the 2024 NFL draft. He's 26 years old when he was 25 years old when he was picked up by Seattle. He appeared in 10 games as a rookie, and I'm actually going to pull up a couple of photos here because this should be quite interesting. He's had 10 games, including 3 starts, and the first start that he made was actually week 7 against us. So there's a nice photo of him going against someone who I know is very popular and down in the chat, Grady Jarrett. So according to this, he had 250 total offensive snaps, which were 39% of the unit's total during those games. And according to Pro Football Focus, on all but 5 of those snaps, he was playing right tackle. He allowed 3 sacks in 250 snaps, and he's also coming in. The one drawback I would say is that he's not. I don't know how much stock you put in this, but he's not a Division One graduate. He was an alumni of the Findlay University Oilers from NCAA Division Two, but he's got that kind of NFL size. He's 6'4" tall and 309 pounds. So yeah, there's some of the measuring tape of it. But I feel like, given the fact that, I mean, you can't argue with 3 sacks allowed in 250 snaps. That's not bad for essentially a backup. So how do you feel for what we gave, essentially a conditional 7th, not even a true 7th? How do you feel about that in terms of value, Des?
Yeah, I heard one of the reporters saying that if we let this guy go, we get a 7th-round pick back.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a win-win for us. If he's good, then fine. If we cut him and move him on, then effectively there's no loss there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking at what a lot of people have been saying that know more than what I do, it just seems as if it's a bit of a backup. This guy was more brought in to effectively take the Storm Norton place than effectively the Caleb McGarry place. I mean, I know Raheem Morris was asked about this, about the new players that have been brought in, and he said that it would be unfair to effectively expect these guys to be ready for week 1. So I think we have to get to a point where it's going to be probably Elijah Wilkinson that's going to be right tackle for us, or possibly Brandon Parker. But I think for the signings, I think they're probably brought in as backups more than anything.
I'll be honest with you, Des. I'll be honest with you. When you talk about, I'm taking Jack Hunter out of the equation because, as you say, and I completely agree. I don't feel that he's NFL ready. I feel like he needs to adjust more to the pace and clean up the discipline just a little bit. But if you give me the straight up choice, who am I starting between Elijah Wilkinson and Brandon Parker? I would probably say that Elijah Wilkinson, for me personally, is a little bit more of a guard. I would say Brandon Parker would be the better tackle, although the one thing that worries me, he's a big boy, but I worry about his footwork. Some of these faster edges are liable to catch him. And we are going to face some speed rushers. So I feel like with bringing in Michael Jarrell, what we're doing is we're giving, for me, a little bit of a little bit more comfort to the easing back of Storm Norton, so that he's not feeling like week 6, week 7, I need to rush back, and then he's going to end up aggravating it, because that's one thing we don't want to see. Because, as I say, a Storm Norton, any team can really use a Storm Norton on the depth chart. Someone who can play left or right tackle, can even do a little bit of guard, is big and mean and nasty enough to get the job done pretty much anywhere on that O-line. So I mean, he's going to be good to have back, and I'm glad that he's only, as we'll get into a little bit later on the designated to return list.
And as you said as well, obviously you would rather have Elijah Wilkinson than Brandon Parker. For me, I would rather have Michael Jarrell up than Jack Nelson. I think from what we've seen in pre-season, Jack Nelson needs another year at least to develop. Yes. Now, obviously, there's from my point of view, I know that I've heard that Seattle Seahawks O-line wasn't really that great, hence the reason why he got a shot at it. But he's played 10 games. Playing 10 games is it makes a difference when you go from college to NFL. It might have been average, but again, in this O-line, sometimes average is okay. Whereas
and then as you say, coming out of college, it's only the top 1% that make it there. And then out of that top 1%, how many actually are able to adjust? Because, as I say, the bodies are bigger, they're moving faster. The schemes are more complex, involving more uh, more complex and intuitive play calling and adjustments and audibles and all that good stuff. So I feel like it takes a real special athlete to adjust. And then, as you say, just in terms of snaps, we've had three preseason games to now gauge where Jack Nelson's at, where Michael Jarrell's had essentially a full year in Seattle, but 10 games, 3 starts playing against. I mean, I'm going to say it, even though he's no longer here. Credit to where it's due to a club legend. Grady's no slouch. We didn't cut him because he was a slouch. We cut him because it was a money-saving move.
Yeah.
So that's no light work as handling Grady Jarrett off the edge. And he only allowed, as I say, 3 sacks and 250 snaps. That's commendable work. So yeah, I say give the guy a shot at right tackle and see what he can do. As I say, 245 of 250 from the right tackle position, and the other 5 at left. So he's a little bit of a swing guy, but essentially that's why we want Storm Norton back, is to give us, again, another word we've been saying all off season, that flexibility is coming back again, Des.
I mean, all we want is we just want a good O-line, mate. That's what we want.
Yeah.
This offense, it needs a good O-line. When you look at everything there, all the weapons that we've got in front of us, Bijan, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Ray McLeod, you've got Bijan Robinson taking the handoffs and effectively becoming a wide receiver, 7, whatever. I mean, the offense is going to be phenomenal. I just don't want to be in a position where we're looking at this offense and thinking, if only the O-line was better, how good this offense could be. You know, I mean, we showed in some games last year how good we could be, but again, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot in quite a few games. I'll say again, this team bet away from home, bet the Super Bowl champions in Philadelphia, and should have bet the effectively the Super Bowl champions before, and the Super Bowl runners up, and the Kansas City Chiefs, when Kyle Pitts was effectively assaulted in the end zone. So we're showing that we can effectively stand up and take the punches and throw the punches. But it's just really concerning now that this O-line has got so much issues.
I will just state for posterity, when you're talking about that Kyle Pitts play, like, I'm not one to go, oh, the referee's done us dirty, because, as I say, the referees can be a blessing or a curse. Sometimes they're for you, sometimes you're against you. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. But that play in particular, if a man is intended on putting hands on me like that, he'd best be offering to buy me a coffee first. That's all I'm going to say.
Aye, flowers. Aye.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some 14th of February material. Oh, but dear. But that's as I say, that's the way of the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you feel wrong, but you just get on with it. And that's the real character of a team, is whether or not you can get up. It's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
And speaking about getting back up, that's a nice place to segue, because we've got a little bit more good news in terms of the whole injury scenario. So, wide receiver Darnell Money Mooney has been now designated as likely to return. So he has a designated return for during the season. There hasn't been a week stated as yet, but of course we already know it's been stated towards the end of training camp that you're looking at quite an early sort of week 1 to 3 return. So it's great to hear that Darnell's no longer struggling, that he's had the time off that he's needed, and hopefully, as I say, we can get back to seeing some more of this very, very soon. So as I say, Des, your takes on that, because it's a blessing. I mean, as I say, that's 1,000-yard guy, but at the same time, a sleeper and an underappreciated receiver. Some people who do understand the kind of player he is are putting him in conversation with guys like T. Higgins. I feel like that's maybe a little bit too much, but I feel like he's a very, very capable wide receiver too, and definitely one of the best wide receiver twos around the league. Would you agree with that, Des?
Absolutely, and you could probably rhyme off a whole load of teams where he would be wide receiver one. You know what I mean? From my point of view, it's great. I mean, it's just they were talking about week one. Here's hoping that effectively this time next, 10 days from now, that effectively he's on the team. The benefit of Darnell Mooney is not just on his pass catching and what he does as a wide receiver. It's on the fact that effectively people that are looking at London, effectively, Darnell Mooney's there. He's effectively coming off him, and that allows London to open up as well. You know what I mean? It opens it up for Kyle Pitts. It opens it up for a lot. But when he does catch the ball, I mean, you seen against the Bucs that catch in the end zone. I mean, he was putting all in. I mean, he literally landed on his back. You know what I mean? He doesn't care. Going on with so Drake London had his presser of the day. Drake London says that effectively he's ready to go. He said that if it was me making the decision, he's ready to go. I would put him in now. So from that point of view, it's great to say that hopefully he's ready to go next week, and we've got a full like the complements of players that we need straight away for week one. You know what I mean? So as Drake London says that he thinks he's ready to go. He says it's not my job to say whether he's ready to go or not, but I think he's ready to go. So I think we've lost Will. So I'll continue on. So yeah, great that Darnell Mooney's back. I'll explain what Drake London said. Again, he explained that he had been watching them training. I think one of the reporters asked what it was, how it felt to effectively get Darnell Mooney back, and Drake London says fantastic. Love to see him on the field. And somebody said, how did he look? And he was like, he looks ready to go. So that's a benefit. I think, I mean, he was in uniform and everything, so I don't think any of the reporters mentioned then about him and having a bib on, about not having contact or anything. So
no, and that was one thing I would say. Now that I've got the chance to get back in with you, so I appreciate you holding it down.
Yeah,
few weather issues my side, but we keep on rolling as we always do. We are Falcons. But as I say, when it comes to Darnell Mooney, it was stated that it was his full day in full uniform since the 24th of July. So yeah, 5 weeks. So I'm sure he'll be chomping at the bit, and we're glad to hear that he's back. So I just hope that he's fully fit and ready to go. As I say, whether he does miss week 1 or 2 or however long he needs, I'd rather he comes back at 100%, because that's a player that you need in order for our offense to flourish to its full potential, 100%.
But again, looking at what we've got at wide receiver, I mean, again, Drake London went on for a few minutes about Casey Washington and what he's seen this year from Casey Washington. Said that Casey Washington's mind works at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's great to see him effectively starting to put it all together now. So again, we had this discussion a few episodes back about the wide receiver depth. I've not got an issue. I mean, listen, you want Darnell Mooney to be there week 1, but if he's not, you know Ray McLeod's going to step up. You know that Kadero Hodge is going to make a difference. Let's hope that effectively wide receiver 2 is Kyle Pitts, and he goes off in one. You know what I mean? We've got so many weapons that effectively I've not got a concern if Darnell Mooney feels, or if the Atlanta Falcons feels that he has to step or he has to hold back for the first game. I've no concerns on who we've got there just now. Will.
Yeah, no, and I would agree. And even as we'll get into practice squad in a little bit later, but for some of the younger fans who don't know how the practice squad works, you do have 17 players on the practice squad in addition to your 53-man roster. Now, at any point during the season, any one of those guys, those 17 guys, can be called up to take fill essentially an active roster spot for a player who is downgraded through IR, through unable to perform, things of this nature. When they do that, you can activate a player 3 times, any 3 times during the season. If you choose to activate that player a 4th time, you then would need to make that man a member of the permanent 53-man roster for the rest of the season. So, as I say, there's a lot of different flexibility in what you can do, especially looking into this group of players that we've got so far, as we'll do a little bit later on. But before we do, we've got a little bit more breaking roster news. A couple of bits for you. So, first off, the Atlanta Falcons have named 2 of their defensive starters, and they're both rookies from this year's class. So, our massive congratulations and a photo shout out for both. And you can't beat that they've already got nicknames as well to boot. Des, the X Factor, Xavier Watts will be starting opposite Jesse Bates III. That will be your safety pairing, and a dangerous one to boot. And I heard a little quote through the grapevine, which I will share with you. And he said, he's saying what you want to hear, Des, because he said, I've been a ball hawk through my whole collegiate career, and now that I'm in the pros and you put me opposite Jesse, I want to compete against an all-pro and see who gets more picks. So, I mean, you've got to love that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll say it again. How this man fell down the draft, I don't know, but it's our win. I mean, you've been seeing coming out of training camp, you've been hearing phenomenal things about Xavier Watts. Effectively, for most of training camp, he's been training with the ones. And effectively, we keep on saying that, like, number 1 and number 2 and number 3 in picks in college football last year was Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman Jr., and Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? So effectively, we've got 2 in the team and 1 in the practice squad. I mean, I'll say it again, and I've said it before. We needed to get to a point where some of these players, like the D. Olfords and all that came from the Canadian Football League, couldn't just walk into our team. And you're seeing that our practice squad, and again, we'll get into it, our practice squad is probably the best I can ever remember our practice squad being. And then you look at effectively the starters, and again, it's pick central. I mean, that's effectively what they're going to call these guys, pick central. You know what I mean? Because you can see what Jeff Ulbricht's trying to do with the defense. It's put a lot of pressure on the quarterback so that when he makes a mistake, we've got all these guys, AJ Terrell, Mike Hughes, we've got Billy Bowman, we've got the guy from Alabama.
I'm just going to check his roster real quick.
DeMarco Helms.
Yeah.
You've got obviously Jesse Bates. You've got Xavier Watts. I mean, you can just go on and on and on. I would say, guys, it's late here, so the brain's not starting to switch off. So, I mean, it's going to be phenomenal. I can honestly say this is the first year ever that I've went into the season. I'm so excited about the defense because you've always looked at the defense thinking how bad is this going to be? You know, I mean, how are we going to be average? Are we going to be able to do something to kind of effectively complement this offense? And you look at the defense, and you look at the pass rushers, and I mean, I'm as excited for the defense as I am for the offense.
Oh yeah, I really am as well. And to kind of to take a little bit of a play on words with what you said there, we've gone from bad to badass. And that, as I say, keeping with the nicknames, as I say, a special shout out to another guy you mentioned, new starting nickelback for our Atlanta Falcons, Billy Badass Bowman, or Billy Biceps Bowman, because I mean, if that's the shoulder that's coming in to hit you, I guarantee you it doesn't matter how big you are, you're going to feel that.
Absolutely. And again, there's just an intensity of them. You know, I mean, you watch Xavier Watts in the videos when he's getting introduced, and he's literally just standing there. No messing about, no doing all this. He's just standing there as if to say, "Nah, I'm too good for this. This is. I just want to knock people out." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no airs nor graces. It's a bit of a kind of a throwback to the Ronnie Lott days. I will take your face off. Like we can buy each other a drink after it, but if you come in my zone at game time, it's over with, and you've got to respect that.
And again, if you've got a player, a rookie that's literally looking at Jesse Bates and saying, "I'm going to see if I can beat this guy," I mean, that's phenomenal. And I'll tell you what, Jesse Bates will be looking across and going, "Right, okay, bring it on, rookie. Let's see what's happening." You know what I mean? So
that's it gives me nothing but just pure excitement. And I agree with Miss Christie down in the chat. They are really bitching nicknames. I love it. And the fact that they're rookies to it just gives you a lot to expect going forward. Because you usually don't get your nickname until you've been a proper beast for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. So to come in as rookies and earn it right away, and to have all pros like Jesse Bates looking at you and going, "No, you know what? I'm going to be keeping an eye on you. You're going to be a bit of a challenge." And yeah, we're here for it. The more sort of weapons we've got in this defense, the better. Especially as the season draws on, you know.
And again, well, we went from a draft last year, which was all about the future. It wasn't about now. Most of these players that we brought in, it's all about next year, the year after. It was for the future. This time, and again, I'll say this was the first draft where Terry Fontenot did not have what do you call him, McKay, looking over his shoulder, and effectively had 5 picks, and I would say 4 of them are going to play this year. I mean, literally the third and the fourth round picks are starters. Jalen Walker's going to be a starter, and James Pierce is going to be a starter as well. You know what I mean? So out of 5 players, you've got 4 starters. That's phenomenal. That's how you build Super Bowl winning teams.
Yeah, and I will throw that back onto the media because there were a few. I won't name names, but you all know who y'all are. Who rated the Falcons draft group a C minus. I've seen it as low as a D plus, and especially now that we've seen all the snaps from training camp, from preseason. I'm just going to say, really, guys, really C minus. But again, we're Falcons. We're used to flying under the radar. We're used to hunting stealthily, and never getting the respect that we're due. So this is nothing new to us, is it, Des?
No, I honestly, these players are just wanting to go out and smack somebody in the mouth. That's what these players are. You know what I mean? You're watching them in training camp, and it's literally it's vicious. I mean, it's vicious. I mean, even I seen a video tonight about them talking about their giving a shout out to their college teams, and James Pierce and Kyle Pitts are talking about. Kyle Pitts says to James Pierce about how Tennessee have never beaten, or Florida's got a better win record than Tennessee. And you see James Pearce. James Pearce is literally, you just see it's like he's ready. He's wanting to start fighting with people. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and they're talking about their college team, and you just think to yourself, this guy just wants. He literally loves doing what he does because he gets to hit people. That's what James Pearce is. Jalen Walker, obviously, he's had injuries, and we don't know what we're going to get from him. But effectively, was in most draft mocks before the draft, he was top eight, top seven, top eight players. So effectively, I've not got a concern that how good or how bad Jalen Walker will be. I think he'll be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's very much one of those cases where I've seen more, trust me, as a Texas fan, and as a New Orleans fan who picked up Kelvin Banks, you'll have been watching closely, so you'll know well what Jalen Walker can do. So I feel like in college he showed us more than enough to where.
Oh, is he away? Yeah, he's away. So let's go back to the comments. So Southside Ricky, yeah, he's come up. All 4 rookies will be starters before week 6. Southside Ricky, I think most of the rookies will probably play maybe week 1, week 2. I think the only question is probably Jalen Walker on his injuries, on his injury. Again, I think Raheem Morris was asked how Jalen Walker was going, and he effectively said that he was doing well, and he keeps on saying that effectively Jalen Walker was still upset with him that he held him out the last preseason game. So I think from our point of view, I think there's a chance that barring maybe Jalen Walker, they might hold him out for the Bucks game, or they might hold him back for the Bucks game. But I think going forward, we're going to have four rookies starting. Now, Raheem Morris was asked, what was the last time? When was the last time he remembers seeing 4 rookies starting in a team and playing for the season? And he said his last year, he's one of his years at LA. When effectively that was the time when I think that was the last season he was in LA before we brought him in, and it was all rookies, and I think the defense was sitting 20th out of 32 teams, but effectively that was all rookies. You know what I mean? So I've said before that Raheem Morris knows how to effectively bring rookies in and play them in defense straight away. And I think that's
this is the thing as well, is what is something that we've touched on, but not really kind of went into in too much detail. Is I was looking earlier, and I should have really saved it, but remind me, and I'll bring it as one of the pull-ups for Saturday's show. I was looking at the average age of the 32 NFL rosters, and we're down towards the bottom, but that sounds like we would have a very old roster, but the average is still 26. That is a perfect sort of medium of youth and experience when you're looking at sort of guys like Leonard Floyd, Arnold Ebiketie, and some of these older guys, Jake Matthews on the offensive side, that are able to bring these guys along, So I feel like we've got a great balance of youth and experience as well. We've got some of these mentors in the right places for these guys that are just behind them,
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a few comments as well. So we've got Blackberry in the house.
Home team was good, Blackberry. AFN royalty at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Scottish Dirty Birds. That's us definitely.
Hell yeah.
And again, the boss lady, she's saying that maybe a slow start, but hopefully not all quarters. Absolutely. No. And then,
as I say, I'm prepared to kind of slip up in one game, but I'm ideally holding out for being 2-2 going into the bye. I mean, I'll cross my fingers on that one because best laid plans are mice and men, but yeah, 2-2 would be lovely. What are you kind of hoping for? I mean, looking at how strong our schedule is early on in the season, what are you kind of hoping for? Do you think 2-2? Are you hoping to just get 1 out of 4?
Listen, for the first 4 games, if we're 2-2, I'm ecstatic because I think the start is really, really tough. I think after that, it eases out a wee bit. So if we're 2-2 with our schedule, yeah, I'm delighted on that. I would say as well, we need to still understand that Michael Penix Jr. has literally only played 3 games, so that he's going to make mistakes. There's going to be, listen, I hope he doesn't, but there's going to be times where something's going to happen, and it's because he may be a pick or something. But again, from my point of view, this season is effectively a building block for the future. And I'm excited. Another wee comment from Jay as well. So Jay says that don't be surprised if one of our rookies win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Not at all. I would love to see it, and if I had to pick, now that's a tough. Now that's an interesting question. You know what? James Pierce Jr. So if you had to pick one of those rookies to win DPOY, Des, gun to head, who are you going for?
I'm going to go James Pierce Jr. Now, just look at it, Louis Riddick, and I think it's ESPN. He's come out and said that he thinks that James Pierce Jr. is going to be the NFL leading sack leader this year. He's come out on national TV and said that. So again, the buzz and the hype, and bearing in mind these guys have got insider knowledge as well. They'll have people on the inside that are watching this kind of stuff, and they'll be going back to him, and they'll be going back to ESPN saying this boy is a monster. You know, I mean, this and I guy mean, is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of leading in sacks as a rookie, I don't think anyone's done that since LT, since Lawrence Taylor. I mean, there might have been one or two, but it's rare to find a player that's even in the conversation as a rookie.
But again, we still need to be realistic. Well, he is a rookie, you know what I mean. But when you see some of the teams in pre-season, they were double teaming him. You know what I mean? It's like, so. I mean, it's not as if they double teamed him and then thought, do you know what? I don't think we actually need to double team this guy. We'll just put one guy in front of him. They double teamed them, then they kept on double teaming them, as if to say, do you know what? This guy needs special attention. So
and on that note, all due respect to the offensive coordinators for the Lions, Titans, and Cowboys respectively, because you have to do your due diligence if you're going to coach in this league, and all 32 teams know what we got. Like, in terms of James Pierce Jr. and in terms of Jalen Walker, they know that we've improved so much as a defensive unit. There's been so much a culture change now and an attitude shift. As I say, the biggest teams in the league, Patrick Mahomes has gone, no, they're cooking something up in Atlanta and it's going to be real fun. So, I mean, if the guys who's in boat talk already and is only possibly halfway through his career says that about you, then you must be doing something right.
But
as
again,
an organization,
it's good that the media starting to spot the things that are happening in Atlanta. And again, I'll go back to the fallout from us moving up to take James Pierce Jr. The fallout was ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We move up, we gave up. I mean, you would have thought we gave away the next six years of draft picks. The way it was looked on, the Atlanta Falcons gave up an enormous amount to get James Pierce Jr. No, we didn't. We gave up a third. That was it. We gave up a third, and we got I think a fifth back. You know what I mean? So
truly, yeah.
Again,
really. I feel like they want to kind of almost paint narratives or drama where there is none, because I feel like consistently the Falcons, when you're talking about first round draft picks, have hit, especially when it comes to double dipping, because the last time they double dipped, they got Lindstrom and McGarry and completely fortified the right side for a decade or more. You can't understate that, especially now that, oh, lo and behold, you have a left-handed quarterback. So yeah, be that as it will. But talking in terms of the people who said, "Oh no, you can't take a running back at 8, you can't take a tight end at 4." Although I maintain that we never drafted Kyle Pitts to be a tight
To be a
end.
tight end, no.
We drafted him to be far more of a weapon than that. But yeah, we could go on. So it's not our first rodeo when it comes to double dipping or taking a risky pick in the first round. If you don't see the vision, then that's fine. Just admit you can't see the vision, but the product is there to
But
see.
again, you go back to Jesse Bates when we signed Jesse Bates. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? There was fallout about how much we paid Jesse Bates. Said that effectively we'd overpaid for Jesse Bates. You know what I mean? What I would say, and
These
you go,
places differently.
and then you go to Bijan Robinson. You don't take a running back in the top 10, right? Ashton Jeanty, he goes what, 5th. It's fantastic, great player for the Raiders, or I think it was the Raiders he went for. Great player for the Raiders. So and so and so. It just seems to be it's okay unless it's the Falcons, and then we become this public joke that you have to ridicule them. You know what I mean? It's like the big bully against the young boy. You know what I mean? It's like it just, as I say, we've now got a team that literally wants to smack people in the mouth, and I'm here 100%. For it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right there with you, mate. I'm going to dive back down into these chats because we've got a couple of questions and a good one here from Tony. So, do y'all in Scotland get NFL football on your regular TV stations, or do you stream it online? I personally stream it online, but I know for Des, you use NFL Game Pass. Which is, again, it seems to be one of the most reliable sort of ways to do it. Which reminds me, we really should get out to campus or something and have a few cups of coffee and get our notepads out and do a wee watch party.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean,
you heard it here tonight, for the first time. The first red and black international event.
Yeah. So the campus is effectively a bar that's literally, it's like an American style bar in the middle of Glasgow, and it's considered really like where a lot of people, like a lot of wrestling fans go there, and there's a lot of sports fans go there as well. As for your question, so over in the UK we've got Sky Sports, which is effectively the main channel for stream for actually the NFL football. But they'll put on like a, so I'll do it with American times. They'll put on a 1 o'clock. They'll then put on a 5 o'clock.
4:15, I think it is.
Yeah, 4:15. Then they'll put on a late one. They'll show Thursday night football and Monday night football, but effectively they choose who they're going to put on at the 1 o'clock. So effectively, if the Falcons Bucks game is getting shown on Sky, then I don't watch Sky, so I watch on NFL Game Pass, which is effectively, it costs me about £170, which is about $230, $240 a year, and that allows me to watch all the games. So I can effectively click into any game that's live and watch it. I can also watch Red Zone as well. The only issue that you have in Scotland is if Sky Sports has shown an Atlanta Falcons game live, then I get blocked out from watching it live. So at that point, I then jump onto the streaming sites and actually stream it. But yeah, I mean, Sky Sports for their due effectively do really well with the NFL. I wouldn't say I'm a big Neil Reynolds. Is Neil Reynolds, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm not a big Neil Reynolds fan. I prefer it was Kevin Cadle.
Kevin Cadle. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
who
I
was
did love me some Kevin
yeah
Cadle. He was a good guy.
who was American. And when I watch, the one thing I love about watching on NFL Game Pass is that I get the American presenters. When I'm
Yeah.
watching American football, I want American people. I don't want to watch British people that talk about American football or talk about NFL. I want to watch the NFL. Probably the biggest issue I've got with NFL Game Pass is that I can't. Just give you an idea, I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan as well. So when I go on to watch a Braves game, I can effectively go down and choose the local commentary. So I can listen to the Atlanta commentary if I want to do it. And I can also listen to the radio commentary as well on MLB. The issue I've got with the NFL on NFL Game Pass is effectively I get the commentary that they deem as fit. So, like Fox 5, you watch all the highlights and you hear all the Fox 5 commentators, and they sound phenomenal because they're obviously shouting for Atlanta. We can't effectively work. We can't listen to that, so we just effectively have to go with the normal NFL commentators. So that'll give you a wee bit of an answer on that.
We do find more workarounds, and it seems to work for us. But then, of course, shout out to Cam as well, because now we've got the family watch parties and the family kettle, so to speak, because he explained to us that a flock of falcons would be more properly referred to as a kettle. So there you are. If you ever feel like joining us in the family kettle, then you're more than welcome. Let's watch some falcons together. Just be aware that it won't be going live, because if we did, then you may have some issues with demonetization, and we're not gonna put the channel through that. So there will be some colourful language, because Falcon's gonna falcon, as you well know. So you have been warned. That's 18 plus.
I got to say, we are not letting any ints in, because when it's going bad, I just go into a depression that the world's never seen. When we're playing bad, it's like the world's ending. It's unbelievable.
It really, really is. And to pull the boss lady's comment out again, as I say, thank you for always supporting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff, watching and listening to us. 36 hours, so essentially a day and a half worth of material, or just over that. And for some reason, y'all crazy bunch are still in here showing love. So yeah, and as I say, this is the antithesis to what you were saying as well, Des, because you were saying you want the real Americans doing your commentary. Well, maybe the guys in the air are sick of hearing the local commentators. Maybe they want to hear our take, and that seems to be what's shown for the love and support that you show us. So please continue.
Listen, I'll tell them exactly how it would go if we were commentating. When the Atlanta Falcons are winning, I'm screaming. I've already said that over in Scotland, that effectively if it's a 1 o'clock game, we're watching the game at 6 o'clock our time. So from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, my neighbour is wondering what's happening and what I'm doing, because from 6 o'clock on a Sunday night to 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, I'm screaming. I'm either screaming for joy or I'm screaming abuse at a TV. So yeah, what I would say is that if you ever come onto the watch party, be prepared, because the Scots are well known for two things: drinking and swearing. So
you will hear insults that you have potentially never heard before, or combinations of words that you will just be like, what? But do you know what? Once you come off the stream, if somebody messes with you, you will have a whole string of new vernacular that you can pelt them with. so to speak. And there's another one: to hurl abuse at someone, to pelt it at them.
I give them pelters. So if you're
Give
giving
them
somebody
pelters.
pelters, that means that you're giving them abuse. So
100%. And just I want to pull out this one by Ricky. He literally left his hometown in Florida 16 hours ago, rode past the Buck Stadium like 5 times for the week he was there. Is it wrong that he wanted to drink a 30 pack of beers and litter? No. I'm going to say no. I wouldn't report you if I caught you throwing it at just close enough to the stadium to make your point. And I don't think Des would either, would you, sir?
no, I mean, listen, there's a lot of places in America I would love to go. Probably the first place I would go would be Gillette Stadium, and that big goat. I wouldn't say that goat man, and just toss something at him, at that big new statue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking about the Jets showing stuff at him. I hate that man. I can't watch him. See when I'm hearing them on commentate on the commentation. I can't turn. I turn the sound down. You know what I mean? His commentary is terrible. Matt Ryan,
really
phenomenal.
is.
The goat man is. I mean, he gets 360 million for that. Garbage.
It's insane. It just goes to show you, like, I don't know, man. So just be aware. We don't want you littering any of the houses around about it, but we can call it a crime of passion if you do it just outside the stadium gates. At least give us some leeway, Ricky. All right, so that then we can cover your back.
See, to be honest, Ricky, just leave it for Atlanta to go into Tampa and absolutely destroy them. That's all we need to do. So just you chill your jets a wee bit and just wait until we can all ride into Tampa. We'll be riding high in the NFC South, and we'll give them a pasting like they've never seen before, and we'll dominate the NFC South for the next 10 years.
That's it. And I love these comments, so please keep them coming. They're so funny, some of them. JD, as I start calling everyone bums and saying fire somebody, that sounds about right. This is why we love the tail end of pre-season. Are you guys as ready as we are to have this team define your every emotion, high and low, for the next 5 months? Because we sure are. We've waited long enough for the off season to pass, haven't we, Des? I mean, you tell them.
I'll go away. Obviously, I watch a lot of podcasts as well. Anything the Falcons, I'll watch it. But I think it goes back to one of the Falcoholics put on their X that being an Atlanta Falcons fan is like riding a roller coaster with a really bad safety record. That's effectively what it's like being an Atlanta Falcons. You just don't know what's going to happen.
The thrills and the chills. That's it. You said it, brother. And then I've got another one here. We've been recommended Atlanta 92.9 FM on game day. Tony Hall says that the guys from there, the Atlanta Falcons radio broadcast announcers, are very knowledgeable and great at announcing the game. So thank you for the recommendation, Tony. We'll be sure to check that one out.
I've tried, Tony. I've tried my damnedest to get 92.9 the game, and in the UK, I just can't get it. I've tried all the radio. I think all the different radio apps. For some reason, it just doesn't allow me. Maybe get a VPN and just kid on I'm in America, and then I can listen to it. But yeah,
there you go, Des. I was saying, as a gamer, we can live vicariously through our avatars, but it turns out we can also live vicariously through Jay. He lives 30 minutes for the stadium. So yes, please go and pass on the love for us. Yeah, please do.
Honestly, somebody needs to go to that and put a picture of a goat, or as I said earlier, I said it to the Jet fans. If you're a Jet fans in Scotland, there's a statue in the middle of Glasgow. It's the Duke of Wellington, isn't it, mate? Duke of
Yes,
Wellington. And,
yeah.
and everybody, it's well known for having a cone, a traffic cone on its head. So effectively, the police don't do anything about it. They just allow this statue to have a traffic cone on its head. And we need to get to a point that the Goatman statue in New England has got a traffic cone on its head all the time. And that's my gift to the Jets fans.
And if anybody is feeling particularly spicy, you can even spray a nice the S in red and the F in black. Give us a nice F on the traffic cone, just to remind them that Scotland sends their love.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, as I say, it's been promised. There you go. When next time he pulls up, he's got us. So there you go. A promise is a promise, and we will hold you to that. But let's move on with some more of the topics. And we finished off with talking about Billy Bowman, who's going to be wearing number 33. And speaking of number 33, I've got a very special shout out and thank you to give, because if you've not paid attention to the channel this week, then you really, really should have, because you missed an absolutely amazing episode of the Ladybirds of AFN on Tuesday night. You also missed a trick and a party on Friday for the last pre-season game, because a couple of legends have been closely in contact with our Ladybirds and friends. They're always happy to shout out the AFN when they're seen, so we like to shout out back. So if you get the chance to check out the Believe in Falcons podcast, we're grateful for having these legends be on and show so much love. So thank you very much to Michael Turner and to Ove Mahaley as well. That was a great show that you put on for the guys on Friday, so we appreciate that, even though we don't appreciate the score too much. So yeah, we can't thank you enough for that. And just as I say, we are so envious of you guys stateside that you got to have that honour. Hopefully it's one that we can do. And as I say, later on we do have a little Q&A section where we will give you guys in the chat the chance to drop some ideas as to who you would like to see us put the grapevine out to, because we're getting to the stage now where we're going to have some special guests on to talk some football. So if we can get in touch with some legends too, then by all means drop it down in the chat and let us know. And just before we move on as well here, another one from Southside Ricky. Missed it. 2 seconds. Okay, so yeah, I'm extremely ready for this season. I'm on everyone's top at this season. They better hope for failure, because when we succeed, family and friends are going to stop inviting me out and stop calling me. Yeah, they know not to bother me at certain times during the week, specifically because I'm going to be watching the football. And if we start winning a decent amount of games and we're talking playoffs, and especially if we go on a run, I'm not going to shut up. So yeah, there's going to be more Scottish Falcons shows than you can handle, because me and Des are just going to be so amped up that we're just going to be like, do you want to just go on and just ramble some more? So yeah, be fully warned and prepared for that. There is a possibility that could well occur this season, given how deep the team is.
Again, another Scottish saying, bouncing off the wall. When the Falcons are doing well and they've just effectively had a fantastic game, I'm bouncing off the wall. I'm quite literally bouncing off the wall. So happy. I mean, it's unbelievable that a couple of some men on a park it does this to you. But I mean, it's either joy or pain. There's nothing in between. You know what I mean? But I think we're all ready. You know what I mean? I can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, definitely. And if you want to if you're not hyped enough, as I say, and you did miss it, then you need to go back and check out the Michael Turner interview, because the lady's done a stellar job. As I said to Maggie, it's always nice to go in and spend some time with the legends and also Michael Turner. So But yeah, moving on, we've got one more piece of roster news before we kind of really get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So that is to say that we have one more confirmed starter. If you want to say starter, it's in terms of the special teams. The number one punt returner and kick returner on both special teams is going to be Jamal Agnew. So I'm going to give the man his flowers, and I do have a photo here of him in the white number 14. So that's going to be your main returner. Obviously, you are going to see some Natron Brooks in there as well, potentially. Some of these other guys that are not yet confirmed, but there's your number one. So how do you feel about Jamal Agnew? I mean, I know he's a serviceable receiver, but in terms of what he brings to the special teams and the return game, it was an obvious choice to include him in the 53. Wouldn't you agree, Des?
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively been picked. Although he's a wide receiver, he's a special teamer. Effectively, yeah. You can look at Kadero Hodge. Kadero Hodge last year was brought on as effectively, he was a wide receiver, but he was mostly special teams. So, yeah, I mean, I think he done well in the preseason. So, he's got a lot to live up with. Kadero Hodge is now effectively moved up in as a standalone wide receiver now. So yeah, I mean, it shows that if you do really well and you play well, then the world's your oyster. So yeah, I mean, I'm ready for it. I think he's got good speed. So and again, we did see that. I think probably when you look at Nathan Carter, I think if he hadn't have been took on as RB3, I think he probably would have made it through a special team as well. So
yeah, that's one to watch, because I mean he had a couple of good returns in the preseason as well. And we're being backed up in the chat here as well, because Blackberry was saying he's definitely a really good return guy as well. But a couple of great questions that I do want to tackle. In terms of game day meal, that's an interesting one. I mean, I'm all about food, so I'll eat what's put down to me. But I like my American food.
Is Micah Parsons just get traded to the Packers?
I'm going to double check that. I've got the laptop now. Hold on. There's no chance. That's the heir apparent to Clay Matthews the third. That mean pass rusher.
Oh my God, he has. Thank you, Dallas. Go Pack, go. Micah Parsons is just put on X.
Wow. Okay. So We've not prepared, as you can probably see from the wide eyes and the reaction. But this is just coming through to just now. So thank you for breaking the news, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. Yeah, so it says Parsons and the Packers already have reached an agreement on a 4-year, $188 million contract.
4-year, 188. So you're talking 45.
Ultimately,
45.
Ultimately negotiating a record-breaking contract that includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing, and makes Parsons the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. It's not. I don't think it's actually told. I don't think it's actually told you what they've traded to get him. But I mean, that is. I mean, listen. I know we talk about the Falcons, but that's a big news. That's a big NFL news. I mean, that is
league changing, and I mean, I would double check that schedule again, because I still have it in the files for later on. But I'm pretty sure we see Green Bay this season, because I know we see Minnesota.
Let me have a wee look.
I think we do a tour. I think we play all 3 teams in the North this year.
Green Bay. No, we don't have them.
Right. Okay.
So we don't have them. So
well, in that case, at least for this year, that trade has my blessing, because I wouldn't fancy playing against him fired up on a new team. No way.
I mean, we have spoke about Dallas a few times, and your mother's a Dallas fan, which she must be going through the now, finding out that.
Oh, I don't know if she knows. I might have to break it to her when I get off the stream. So that's going to be a fun conversation. Because I mean, she's not a Packers fan. She hates. It's one of the 3 or 4 teams that she hates the most. So I'm sure she'll be absolutely thrilled. Oh dear.
We spoke about this, and the one thing I said is that Jerry wouldn't let him out of Dallas. I mean, I am stunned by that.
I really thought that, as you say, I really thought that he was going to pop open the checkbook and went, right, we've wrote million, we've put a 4 there, you fill in the second number. Like, I really thought it was going to be one of those deals. That is, I mean, I'll hold my judgment until I know what the compensation was, but that's bad business. That's a game-changing edge rusher. And as I say, if you're not going to pay him as one, there's plenty of other teams that will. I'm sure we would have been in the mix had we the capital too.
But see, to be honest, maybe this time last year, but we have moved on in the pass rush, mate. We've moved on to a point where we really don't need to worry about effectively. Hopefully, we don't really need to worry about our pass rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I would agree. It came to a point where I felt like it was no longer an issue, especially not for the money that he was asking. But yeah, just to return to the Jamal Agnew thing, I see a few comments in his regard as well. Yeah. And yeah, I wouldn't say he's a wasted roster spot, because I feel like he proved in Jacksonville, he proved in Detroit that he's willing to go after a ball. I love his heart and I love his tenacity, but my issue is that he's coming off an injury, and that play style is going to get him hurt again. But again, if he does get hurt, we're mighty deep at wide receiver, as Des already said earlier in the show. Well, and we've got some. Let's face it, we're pretty deep at return man as well, aren't we? At this point.
Well, Avery Williams has been released. I think he get cut from, I don't know where. I think he was. Let me see where Avery Williams was. No, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, released. Yeah, Eagles. He was on the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether they've put him back onto practice squad, but again, I thought Avery Williams. I mean, he had an injury as well, but I thought Avery Williams was decent. What I would say to Southside Ricky is we need to be in a position where Troy Anderson is effectively injured because of the special teams, because he effectively played on the special teams. On special team and get injured while we've done that. We need to be at a point where effectively our main players aren't playing on the specials team. And I understand that you're saying obviously about Agnew, he's obviously a wasted roster spot. Special teams is an important part as well of the team. You know what I mean? So effectively we need to give some sort of resources to the special teams.
And you'll see it through practice squad as well, that we're giving additional resources to special teams, because that's where you're seeing some of the more serviceable special teams hitters, guys like D'Angelo Malone and things like that, come into play when you're talking about practice squad, as we'll go on to do. But now that we've kind of covered all of the breaking news, and especially like the wildest part of the breaking news, the 47 million a year. That's going to work out to be, and it's crazy money. And if you said 120 mil guaranteed, for a 4-year deal, that's at least 30 mil a year. But he's going to be earning near the 47 for a player of that caliber to come across from somewhere that he loved so much or professed to love so much. Yeah, that's money talking. So he's going to be making well over 40 mil a year. It truly is a crazy trade, as you guys say. Like that's league shaking. That is league shaking. And the next time we play Green Bay, it's something that we're going to have to account for. So I'm glad that it's not this season, because facing Micah Parsons with a backup tackle is not a situation that I'm prepared for, especially now that he's going to be chomping at the bit on a new squad, as I say, Des. So
I mean,
we can count our lucky stars on that one, eh?
If the Steelers had traded TJ Watt, there would have been. I mean, we'd have been stunned. It's just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking. I mean, this is.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm seeing there just now. They're saying that it might be more of 137, so 136 million guaranteed. So, I mean...
Yeah, because 120 would only be 30 mil a year, and that sounds a bit low. So, yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah,
but that's guaranteed. This is where the mind blows. That's guaranteed at signing.
Yeah.
So, effectively, he'll probably be walking away with 60 or 70 million as a signing on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that the Packers... I don't think the Packers have got that much money in cap space. So they'll effectively have to do the look with some of their contracts to make this work.
Yeah, and it's going to be tricky, because I think like some of their contracts are similar to ours. They've got a few guys that are just coming up for big contracts. So, because I know they've got a lot of younger guys as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can balance the books on that one.
Listen, if you're going to make it work, you make it work. Simple as... I mean, if you can get Micah Parsons and whatever he's asking, you give him it. You know what I mean? I'm just baffled by Dallas. Why would Dallas do this? It's just, I mean, yeah.
I'll be interested to see in the coming days what Jerry Jones, and I mean, this is something we can revisit on Saturday, and we usually do a little bit in and around the league section at the tail end of the show. So I'd love to kind of give this a couple of days to sink in and then revisit this with you, bro, because this is... I feel like you're not even getting the real reaction right now, because you and I are both so kind of like, whoa, wait, what?
Just totally. NFL, there's literally the sleeping volcano has just exploded in the NFL. I mean, the media
and they've got the cheek to call this the no fun league. Come on, give me a break.
Do you know what I laugh about, mate? I've had it a few times now that I'm talking about the season's about to start. Obviously, the soccer season has started over here, so people are now starting to talk about soccer, and I'm going, well, my league's starting soon. I'm the NFL, and obviously I call it American football when I'm talking to people in the UK, and every one of them keeps on saying the same things. But it's stop, start. I mean, does that not put you off? And my words to them were, do I not look like a guy that likes my snacks? So the stop and start just means I can go and get another packet of crisps or another packet of M&Ms or something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like that, you'll see this. This is... I think it was actually Jeremy Clarkson. He's got a cheek to talk being English, because the Scots are even worse. But I think I've made this joke before on the stream, but the Americans see halftime and they use it as an excuse for a sing-song. We use halftime to go and get a pie. That's what halftime's for. We're not singing songs. We sing our songs all the way through the game. Halftime, so we can go and get a pie, or a bovril, which is something that is you guys don't drink over there. It's essentially warm seasoned beef stock. It's good for what ails you. Trust me. When you're standing in the stands and it's
freezing.
Yeah, October. We'll give it some due. We do get 3 nice days in August. I remember it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or summer last year. but no, like as I say, you invent these fixes, and Bovril was one of ours. When you grow up in Scotland, you'll know why. But Dallas is the new Cleveland Browns, yes. But at least they only overpaid one quarterback. They didn't build a whole 53-man roster based on them. So I guess like Cleveland still gets a little bit higher of a ridicule level for me, but only slightly, because it's also personal for me when you're talking about Dallas. As I say, every so often I'll have a Freudian slip and just have feel the need to go and sit on a couch somewhere. But no, I hate Dallas.
Yeah,
I truly do.
I'm actually going to, and I need to check and see whether Dallas plays the Packers.
Oh, that would be fun.
Dallas Cowboys. Let me see who they play. So they've got so the Eagles, the Giants, the Bears, the Jets, the Packers. The 29th of September.
Put that one in your calendars, folks, because I'm not being funny. I'm going to cross my fingers that they are on a different time window to us, because I'm offering you guys a double header. Des, speak to Cam. We'll make it happen. Let's do a double header of Falcons, whoever we are playing that week.
It's 1:20 in the morning, so it's obviously a prime time game.
Oh,
if it isn't, it was going anyway.
Maggie said it first. Oh shit! Yeah, that's that. We're doing a double header. That's must. There's no sleep that night, Des.
Brilliant. And before that, Maggie said, crazy trade. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Just an absolute crazy trade. What Jerry Jones is thinking about, I don't know. I mean, honestly, they're going to hunt that man down. I mean, honestly.
It really, really is. You know what? As if they didn't have enough to ridicule him with. I mean, I went on. Just a wee aside. I don't like to share too much behind the scenes, but I will give you a little sneak peek. So I was preparing my media assets or pictures for the layouts to show you guys, and I went on and casually searched Jerry Jones meme. Now I said to Des, it normally takes me anywhere from around about 3 to around about 6 or 7 hours to put together a show of real quality. That one was nearer 7, and I think I spent 4 just scrolling through memes, because I'm like, no, I can't just. They're going to think I hate Dallas and I'm not being professional. And there was so many. I kid you not. Being ridiculing a Dallas Cowboys fan is so easy. Like, I don't even have to write the book. The book is written for me. I just need to take a few pages.
I've got to say, Ricky, you're a bad man. My pop is a Cowboy fan. I'm on my way to visit him now to laugh his ass off.
Well, do you know what? We've got that in Kelman. My mum and your pops. So see, when you do get to his place, give him my love too. Give him an extra few decibels. He deserves it, because you don't let a player of that caliber go. You just don't.
I mean, we spoke about it, and I said at some point, I said, listen, there's no point talking about, because we had this with Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
When people, all the Falcons fans were coming out saying Lamar Jackson was available. Lamar Jackson was never available at quarterback for the Falcons. No. Garbage. No. And it was the same with Micah Parsons. We could get Micah Parsons. We were never getting Micah Parsons, you know what I mean?
No.
We didn't have the cap space. We weren't going to destroy the next 4 years a cap space to effectively bring in a player that, listen, we don't really need now. I'm hoping that we don't need now.
I 100% agree, because in the next 3 or 4 years, I hope the group that we've got in our front seven is going to progress to where, even as a unit, I don't need one guy, but to whereas even as a unit, we can match the production that he's going to bring in Green Bay.
Well, we don't want a Micah Parsons. We want a James Pierce Jr. or a Jalen Walker. That's what we want. We want to be taught. We want them to be getting talked about, like the TJ Watts. And the Micah Parsons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, the Myles Garretts, the Max Crosbys, that really elite sort of group.
That's how we've got 4 stroke 5 years of these guys on reasonable contracts. We can build the roster, and we're hopefully the defense is going to step up this year. But again, shout out to. I mean, I'm not a big Packers fan. Again, I've got a dislike for the ayahuasca guy. I've just got an issue with him as well. So I never ever liked the Green Bay Packers either. So
you've never So you've never been one to commune with the beyond then.
listen. If I really want to talk to the beyond, I've got a cupboard full of limited and effectively rare and limited edition whiskies. Just, I mean, I'm teetotal. I don't drink, but I'll tell you, just one swig of that, and I'll be in beyond somewhere. You know what I mean? So, I don't need any of that ayahuasca stuff or whatever.
Tell the elders I said hi. You know what I'm saying? But no, there's a couple of special interest things that we need to cover just before we get onto this. We're almost 2 hours deep. It shows you how much there is to cover and how much we enjoy being on, because, as I say, you've got two very tired Scotsmen running on fumes and just loving every minute of it. But let's get into this. So, this was a special interest topic that was submitted from Terry Wack, who, as you know, is the head of the digital team for the Falcons. And yeah, it's and concerns Khalid Kareem, who I'm not going to mess around and tell him he's wearing too much eye black, because that is a mean looking man right there. Hell yeah. But yeah, so as I say, he's decided to make the shift after 3+ years of veganism back to animal-based protein. Now, originally, he made the choice, and if you don't know about this man's story, this is one you need to check out. So, I can't even get the full title, so his name escapes me, so I'm sure you'll be able to pull that up for me, Des. He's a Paralympian and former Marine, who in one of the talks basically said, why don't you change your diet? Because essentially when he lost his leg, there was 15 surgeries, and just switching to vegan eating, not plant-based proteins, he was able to essentially heal, to get better sleep, to have a better quality of life. And so Khalid Kareem has taken that on board after the Cincinnati Bengals had lost in the Super Bowl back in 2022. But now, in terms of the fat composite to muscle composite of his body, he feels that switching back to animal proteins is the way to go. Now, I'm not sure because I've never tried veganism, but in terms of on the field results, Des, do you think that's something that maybe I don't know in terms of nutrition if that making that kind of switch is going to impact his play? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that he moves to Atlanta. He probably spots the lemon pepper wet wings, and then just decides there on that veganism's out the window. And I'm going to have some of the lemon pepper wet wings.
Oh,
I don't think it's a coincidence. You move to Atlanta, which, I mean, obviously their cuisine is legendary, and you then go from veganism and you think, you know what, I think animal protein's going to make a difference after munching probably 4 or 5 of the lemon pepper wet wings. You know what I mean? So,
definitely. And I mean, shout out to the A for your culinary expertise. I mean, the stadium was not voted #1 around the league in food for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it also got #2 overall as a stadium. So in terms of atmosphere, I mean, how many ways are you trying to get into my heart? I already love the team. I've grown to love the city, and now you throw food into the mix. I mean, come on, it's a done deal. You had me already, but but no. As I say, hopefully it's something that can give him, if he feels like it can give him that little exponential boost, that little X factor to his game, so to speak. I'm here for it. So yeah,
I don't eat a lot of as I call it, dark meat. I don't eat a lot of like burgers and things like that. I'll eat a lot of chicken, probably a lot of tuna as well. I like tuna, but again, from my point of view, I don't see. I mean, I think if you're an athlete, I think you've got Brian Danielson, the wrestler, who's a vegan. But if you're putting your body through that, your body needs. I mean, I'm not a nutritionist, but your body needs a lot of you get a lot more protein from animal, like chicken and all that. So, we don't. As I say, we would rather not kill animals. You know what I mean? I understand all that, but effectively,
No, I understand the ethics, and it's not really my place to comment. I mean, for me, I understand that the animals are free range, so they're bred. They're essentially born to die. But I'm not going to get into the ethics or the PETA concerns and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's not that. We're a sports channel. We're here.
But yeah, but for me, I can only speak for me, and give me the steak, personally. But yeah, as I say, there's one more piece of special interest, and then we will get, as we say, we promised you, we will get into the roster and the depth chart and the practice squad. But before we do, ESPN has named our 3 Falcons players to the 100 best players for 2025. And I will give you these in ascending order of position. So at number 62, you've got, first of all, we better shout out to ESPN. So just in case you wanted a wee spoiler alert, like if you don't care for spoilers, I'm sorry, but like you didn't know this man was coming. So we've got Jesse Bates at number 62, which that's an insult. Yeah. Come on. And then we have up from place, I think it was 87 last year, we have the leader of that offensive front, Chris Lindstrom, at number 53. And then, as I say, rounding it all out, the highest ranked Falcon, all the way up at position 37, your boy Bijan Robinson. And as I say, I've loved the guy from college. There's no enough good things I can say. But I'll let you take this one, Des, because I could go on about these guys all night. I'm sure you could too.
I don't know what one offends me more, to be honest, on the ratings. I mean, I seen a comment from somebody in one of the media guys on X saying that Bijan is like number 37 on ESPN and was like 52nd or some non-NFLs. But
it may have even been more than that. It was pretty. I remember being angry.
Yeah, but it's going to be the number 1 player on fantasy football for everybody. You know what I mean? So,
because I mean, you told that story about your friend in the fantasy football, or the person you'd read about. He's like, B. Robinson, got to be my first pick. Boom, Brian Robinson Jr.
Brian Robinson, yeah. But again, this, I mean, Lindstrom at 53. I mean, he's one of the best O-linemen in the NFL. You know what I mean? And Bates at 62, he's the best safety in NFL by far. You know what I mean?
And for me, it says one of two things. Either certain position groups are underappreciated, or just the Falcons are as a franchise. And I feel like both are partially true.
Well,
at least in certain circles.
I would love to know who's voting on this. Who actually gets? Who's making up making the decision on where these players are?
Oh, that would be the ESPN experts.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which dark office at the back of the building they operate on, because I'm not quite sure how many or who they are or where they operate. But yeah, the experts have spoken.
Well, that decision. Well, looking at these, that tells me that whatever room they're in, it doesn't have a window and they don't see any sun.
No,
you know what I mean?
Clearly not. Oh, and trust me, as people who don't see that much sun, that what little bit we get counts. Oh, but yeah. So let's get into this roster and depth chart then. So the first thing I wanted to do is play a little game with you. So I would ask you just for one name. I know that there are many, but we'll run down these list of cuts first off, and then I'll ask you if you could pick a one player who's not been since picked up into the practice squad, who you think will be a miss for our team. Who would you say? So we've released safety Jordan Fuller, inside linebacker Ronnie Harrison, CJ Henderson, Khalid Kareem, Brandon Parker, Easton Stick, Kentavious Street, Keith Taylor, and Jake Hansen, although he was released to injured list with an injury settlement. And in terms of the players that we waived, Simeon Barrow Jr., Henry Black, Chris Blair, Kobe Bryant, Deshaun Corbin, Dylan Drummond, Joshua Gray, Dante Manning, Nick Nash, Joshua Simon, Carlos Washington Jr., Jordan Williams, and Lenny Krieg. So quite a long list of players there that we had to get out of. Then you also have the designated to return and your injury related. So you have Taquan Graham and Storm Norton designated to return. You also have in the reserved and injury list, you have Caleb McGarry, of course, Grayland Arnold, cornerback, and Emery Jones after his head knock earlier on in the pre-season, and also Tyrone Wheatley Jr., who's a tackle who Manuel was mentioning when he was on the show as well. We also have Troy Anderson still there on the physically unable to perform list, and Malik Verdon, the inside linebacker, on the non-football injury list as well. So breaking down all those names, and obviously we'll talk about the practice squad guys very, very soon. But is there one name that is no longer affiliated with the Falcons who you say would be missed? I'll start because I have a picture here before you take over, Des. But for me, the one name that would stand out purely because I did see a stat that had him leading all interior defensive linemen among UDFAs in pressure rate, and it would be Simeon Barrow Jr.
Yeah, that was my guy as well.
So it just goes to show you that either great minds think alike or fools seldom differ. So it depends on whether you want to be nice to us or insult us. So
yeah, I mean, it was a strange. Again, I mean, yeah, the roster's a strange one. From
well, as I say, we'll get into it because I feel like there was some strange choices made, and there's a lot of justification in some cases why, and I will ask you for some of those points where you disagree. But definitely, looking at these names and looking at how many of them we've pulled back into the practice squad, I know we still have 3 spaces left from the 17. So there is a possibility that we could still give the guy another chance. And I feel like he's done enough to at least warrant practice squad and another look. And as I say, with the agreement there, you've said that you do too. So, but before we do continue on and break down the practice squad and the guys that are on that, because as I say, there's 14 names. We would just like to take a special chance from all of us here at the Atlanta Falcons Nation and the Atlanta Falcons Nation International. Thank you for your service to the team. We don't care how long it was or how short it was, or how successful, whether you made the practice squad or whether that is your last snap ever in red and black. I'm going to say here is your applause. So thank you for everything that you've done. So moving on then to the practice squad, Des. And as I say, I've got the list here. So if any of these are out of date, then please do update me there. But yeah, as I say, let's have a look at some of these cuts. These practice squad players. Now that we've got the thank yous out of the way. So in terms of practice squad, the names I have are wide receiver Chris Blair, cornerback Kobe Bryant, wide receiver Dylan Drummond, offensive lineman Joshua Gray, safety Ronnie Harrison, cornerback CJ Henderson, edge rusher Khalid Kareem, wide receiver Nick Nash, offensive lineman Brandon Parker, tight end Joshua Simon, quarterback Easton Stick, defensive lineman Contavious Street, and Carlos Washington Jr., the running back. So looking at that list, it looks like you made the right call. Brandon Parker staying on in there as depth. Joshua Gray probably more for the interior depth. But as I say, I want to talk about three guys in particular with you, Des. So for me, the three guys that I think are most useful in that squad would be Chris Blair, Nick Nash, obviously, both of whom showed plenty of potential. And we apologise. It's your fault for being so tall, Nick. But we all know how handsome you are. And CJ Henderson as well. And I know it does say cut there, but this was prior to us re-signing him to the practice squad. Out of those three guys, and obviously if you have any more, let us know. Who do you think are the guys who are most liable to come back onto the squad and make an impact?
Well, I think CJ Henderson straight away because he's effectively a veteran NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he came in quite late, so I think he was always. I think he'll go to the practice squad, but I think at some point they will bring him up to the main squad. I think it's just down to the fact that he didn't have enough time to get used to the scheming and how Jeff Ulbrich wants the defense to work. I think that was the main issue.
Yep.
The fact that if they'd have brought him in, well, and they didn't see a spark there that they think is worth them keeping, then they probably wouldn't have kept him in the practice squad either. I mean, look at what they've done with CJ Shark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, he's gone. And effectively they've brought him in for his name, the fact that he was a first round pick and everything, and they've thought, nah, you don't have it. You've not got it anymore, and we'll just let you go. They're seeing something in CJ Henderson that they know they can work with, and it was just effectively the time that he had to get used to the defense that effectively meant that he was going down to the practice squad. Khalid Kareem, I mean, from my point of view, D'Angelo Malone probably gets saved because he's special teams work. Because if I'm choosing between D'Angelo Malone and Khalid Kareem, I'm picking Khalid Kareem. I think he was one of the standouts in the pre-season. But again, this is the benefit, and this is what we've said before. We're at a point where our practice squad's probably the strongest it's ever been, where we're talking about players like Contavious Street that would have been in the team last year, the year before, are now in the practice squad. So it effectively gives us plenty of effectively experience to call up when the injuries happen, and the injuries are going to happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just another weapon, as you say. I had him right in that mix with D'Angelo Malone as well. And there's a lot of guys, as you say, we knew that the cuts would be tough. So as Southside Ricky says, he for one thinks that the Blair should have made the roster over Sills, and he stands on that. I would probably agree, given the fact that he had a touchdown in every game. I think that's fair.
I would agree. I would agree.
I'll tell you what's not fair, though, before you do. Sorry to jump in there, Des, but I'll tell you what's not fair is the Panthers' record as a whole, especially when they've got the cheek to come in here and try to address the Kings of the South. So just slow it a little bit. That's all I would say. We're looking forward to coming and seeing you twice. So the only red swarm is going to be the bleeding Panthers swarming to get off the field when JPJ and Jalen Walker are finished body slamming them.
Well, I need to agree with this one. CJ Henderson starting caliber, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you your due on that. But to be honest, again, give him his due. He went to two teams, and people are trying to work out why he hasn't lived up to the first round potential. Well, he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was never. I mean, that's never going to get your juices flowing for win rate. And then he went to the Panthers, and then, I mean, again, we know the Panthers are going to lose all the time. Now he's actually came to a team that he can actually win on. So that's going to be the difference for CJ Henderson. Another thing I would say as well, while looking at the practice squad, and I'm going to be controversial here.
Okay.
Now Desmond Ridder got cut by the Cincinnati Bengals. Now,
yes,
I'm not sure whether he's back on the practice squad, but from my point of view, I would rather have Desmond Ridder than Easton Stick on my practice squad.
I feel like that's an interesting point, because I feel like Desmond Ridder is better under pressure. He would not have thrown into triple coverage. He would have just ran and slid.
Desmond Ridder is a good backup, not a good third string. He's a good backup, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think looking at the quality of QB2 around the league, I feel like you're definitely speaking sense. I don't think there was any need to necessarily bring Easton Stick back, especially with a similar situation at QB than we had at tackle. We were just waiting on 30 plus guys getting flooded into the pool, so to speak. So I feel like Easton Stick I can understand, because now he's played with a lot of the guys that he's going to be seeing reps with if he's playing backup. But that would mean that if Easton Stick's seeing the field, then something has gone disastrously wrong. Yeah. So, I mean, at the same time, he's an okay QB3, but I see what you're saying in terms of Desmond Ridder. So, it's not controversial for me, although it may be for some. So you might get your shots in the chat, but I know you're a big boy, so I know you welcome them. But yeah. And one more thing, as I say, is that gave you 13 names, but the 14th is, of course, the international player profile. So we have re-signed kicker Lenny Krieg, and I will give him his little shout out here in his national pride. So there he is with the German flag. So Lenny the Leg will be staying in Atlanta on a practice squad basis. And as I say, he takes it to 14 players. There are now 3 spots left, essentially, in the practice squad. And we actively reported a roster, which we will go on to soon, of 52 of a maximum of 53 players. And I'm assuming that we did that because the 53rd spot will be taken by the incoming tackle, Michael Jarrell, because he wasn't listed on the roster. And I just
the one thing, well, is everything's fluid. You know what I mean? This squad won't be the same probably in 10 days' time. There will always be changes to this squad. You know what I mean?
As I say, that is subject to change. So don't take everything that we say tonight with as like
gospel.
As gospel. Yeah, so it could change. And just to jump in there, we are from neither Boston nor Ireland. We are from basically the race of people who helped to build most of your country. We are Scottish, as the show title would suggest.
Yes.
So tell us, Roadmaster, what part of the States are you hailing from, or are you one of the international family? And I use the term family loosely because you're coming in here and talking about the Pussycats.
Panthers. Yeah.
And shout out to Kelvin. He's got a question here. I think more than one from practice squad will suit up.
Suit up, yeah. After we got 13 straight weeks of games, which is, again, fair comment, Kelvin.
Yeah. And that is the last question I was going to say to you, is in terms of just like especially when you take into account the fact that we've got 14 straight games or 13 straight games all the way through from the bye week, it's going to be tough to do. So I'm going to ask you, is it the best free agency pool in the NFL?
Absolutely. I mean, as I say, you've got players there to develop. Kobe Bryant, again, these players, Nick Nash, these players have to be developed. And there's a few veterans on the practice squad as well, which again is a benefit. So you've got like the Brandon Parker, Carlos Washington Jr. has been here quite a few years. Kentavious Street, you've got as well, CJ Henderson, Ronnie Harrison. You know what I mean? So there's a mix of rookies and veterans on that, which is what you're looking to do. And obviously the fact that we can effectively have 17 players on there, because it's always 16 players, but we can have 17 because obviously Lenny Craig is an international player. So effectively we've got an extra player there for free, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially now that he's cleared waiving on his back, he's ours essentially. So having that extra kicker, especially with Koo's inconsistencies, and we still don't know quite where he is injury wise, it's definitely a good thing to have. But before we get into any,
so Rod Master says I'm assuming that's South Carolina, but travelled Europe and the Middle East in the Navy. So again, I'm not American, but we thank you for your service. So
100%.
So
take the rivalry out of it. Trash talk being what it is. It's good to have you in the channel, mate.
Yeah, although we don't like the fact that you're a Panther, obviously you served your country, so respect, mate, respect.
And as I say, it's all love until the first whistle goes, and then we can get a pint afterwards. It's the way I've always looked at it. But until that time,
as I say, I have to give these guys due. I mean, see if I had I'd be going at the first bullet getting shot over my head. You know what I mean? I'm just no built for war. So the fact
it takes a special sort.
The fact that these guys effectively volunteer to go and do this, I shout out respect to the guys. You know what I mean?
100%. And thank you for the flowers in return, because as I say, as international fans, we are thrilled just to talk with each other about it, but to have a direct link to the US is just insane for us, and at the same time just so awe-inspiring.
I think the whole point to do this, was the fact that we don't bump into people in the street that want to talk about the NFL. So effectively, this gave us a chance to. I mean, you're not too far away from me. You're probably about 20-25 miles away from me. So
give or take.
Yeah, so again, it's not that bad. But again, you don't bump into people in the street that have got NFL jerseys on, and you can talk to them about football. When you do bump into somebody, they tend to have the jersey was bought by their auntie for their birthday 2 years ago, and they ran out of t-shirts, and that was the only t-shirt that was clean. You know what I mean? So I mean that's effectively as good as it gets over here for us guys. So
or the sunsuit. So I put on the netty one. That's one you'll hear a lot, because we don't see the sun, so we'll take any excuse. What we would refer to as taps off weather or tops off weather. The best way to do that and not get bare chested would be to go in a jersey.
The 15 or 16 degrees here is taps off weather.
Aye. Well, as we say, it hits different because of the air as well, because it's that dry heat just hits different. You can't breathe, and it's clammy. But before we spend the rest of the night talking crap, we'll move on to the actual roster itself. So so we're going to just do a quick run through the offense and then the defense. So we've got at quarterback Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins, only two. So that's a little bit worrying. But as you say, we could have easily got a QB3 in there of a bit more quality than Easton Stick. But again, subject to change. Running backs 3, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Nathan Carter. Now, congratulations to Nathan Carter, because I think he was stellar throughout pre-season. So definitely made the cut for me.
What I'm going to say is I can't wait to watch Nathan Carter behind our first string of offensive line.
Oh yeah.
I think, and listen, and I know it's controversial, but I'm telling you now, the Atlanta Falcons are looking at Nathan Carter as a replacement for Tyler Algier when he gets a big contract that the Atlanta Falcons are not going to be able to match at the end of this season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think different kind of players, but yeah, I when you see what he'd done during the preseason, let's be honest, a very average O-line and run blocking. Then I can't wait to see what he does, and I hope they don't hold him back. I hope they play him in the games. And literally, because his burst of speed is it's something to behold. It's phenomenal watching how.
You know what? Like we all know Bijan's 40 time coming out was pretty impressive. I think Nick Carter might be faster, step for step. He's not as shifty, but I think straight line speed. I think he's maybe quicker. And as you say, it's great to have all three guys in the backfield in 1 year, because now you've got the power, you've got the movement, and you've got the pure speed. So pick your poison. It's a good problem to have, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and again, that's the benefit of the three running backs. They are all different. So again, it's all to do with what defense you're up against. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and as I say, like we have the ability to kind of keep defenses guessing and just keep the guys fresh. More importantly, because we've got all different weapons and assets and plays and schemes and patterns that we can throw at you. And now we're on to the pass catchers, so the wide receivers and tight ends. So wide receivers, there are 7 listed: Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod III, Kadaro Hodge, Casey Washington, David Sills V, and Jamal Agnew. And again, Jamal Agnew makes it purely on the basis of returner, and I agree with keeping Chris Blair over Sills. Sills did enough to take Blair's spot in the practice squad for me, but I would have made a swap. I agree with who was it that said it down in the comments? Ricky. I agree with that one. And then with your tight ends, Kyle Pitts Sr., Charlie Werner, your boy made it, Felipe Franks. And for once, I actually got to say it properly because I've been calling him Felipe Blanks recently. But no, he proved me wrong, and he's still here. So kudos. We will be seeing him wearing the 84 for a little while longer. And I did say in the back of one of the shows that he really shouldn't have Roddy White's number, but that's neither here nor there. And then Tegan Quatoriano. So how do you feel about the pass catching group?
Yeah. So it's quite strange that they've went with so many, to be honest. I mean, so normally it's what six wide receivers you would have. Obviously, Jamal Agnew is there for returning. But I mean, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Kadero Hodge, Casey Washington again. Drake London said how phenomenal he's been in training and everything. So again, for the reason that I like seeing Casey Washington there, it's the same with Chris Blair. Chris Blair kind of has been around the team. So for me, that's where I would go. I would put Chris Blair in before David Sills. You know what I mean?
I would agree. And then before we go on with the offensive line, a couple of questions here. So I'll let you take this one, Des, and I'll take the second. So how do you feel about Kendall Fuller being back?
Jordan Fuller,
Jordan Fuller, sorry.
Yeah. As far as I seen, Blackberry, it was just effectively roster shenanigans. Seemingly, Jordan Fuller couldn't be so effectively. You couldn't waive him strange, and nobody could pick him up. So effectively, they were able to cut him, and nobody could actually pick him up.
Okay.
I don't know the reason behind that, but again, I've seen it on X, and a few people have discussed that. That effectively they cut him because nobody was able to pick him up.
Okay.
And effectively it was just a bit of roster shenanigans. So effectively they cut him. Effectively to get some of the people that are going to go on to IR onto the squad, so that they can go on to IR.
Right.
But yeah,
I can see the justification for it. Looking at this roster here, we'll get on to it, but it says we only have 3 safeties. So I would take them just for sheer safety depth, just because we don't have a lot of true safeties. So, I mean, that's the one reason that I think it is good to have him back.
Yeah, and again, he's a good backup. I don't see an issue with him. He's learning from the best, and Jesse Bates.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as I say, if there's guilt by association, why not greatness as well? So who knows? Maybe if Jesse's got the Midas touch, he can turn that whole defensive secondary to gold. Let's hope so. And then I'll take the next question here, which I liked as well. So if I can get to it, right? Okay, so what's my view on the Packers? 47 million a year. Yeah, we were talking about it a little earlier on. It's an absolutely insane trade, Kelvin.
Yeah, we were talking about it broke. So one of the people in the chat had mentioned that the Packers had got Parsons while we're live, and
like you'll have to watch the replay to see my reaction to that, because it was pretty spur of the moment. And I found out something that was dropped in the behind the scenes chat as well. According to this, part of their compensation is Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's going to Dallas.
Right. Okay.
So that's an interesting move. A safety. So there you go. I don't know, but apparently there's been some fleecing going on. As I say, we are right in the thick of it right now, but we will get back to you and give you some more updates on that when we know more.
Yeah.
But from what I can see here,
as you said earlier, that part of the Saturday show we go into around the NFL, and we'll probably go into quite a bit on that.
Yeah, because that's the biggie. As you say, Kelvin, it's not something that we can really brush over. But yeah, and in a way, I'm glad that we've been able to stay on this long and entertain you for so long, because it's been an entertaining show for us as well, because that's the first time we've got to react to like really, really huge news live on stream. So that was fun.
And just to let all of you know, we are now hitting 11 o'clock at night in Scotland. So if we're looking a wee bit worse for wear and we're looking a wee bit tired, then it's because it's bedtime for me quite soon, to be honest.
So what we'll do then is we'll rattle the rest of this. I don't think you're going to have too many issues outside of what we've already said. So like offensive line, you've got Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Ryan Newsel, Chris Lindstrom, Elijah Wilkinson, Jack Nelson, which, come on, this is where the caveats start, Javon Gwynn and Kyle Hinton. And then obviously the 9th spot for the new signing Jarrell. If you have any comments, and I know you do, about the O-line, because Javon Gwynn was not your guy, but we'll do a bit more roster talk on Saturday. There's 2 weeks to go until the season, but we're just basically trying to give you the news just now. Edge rush, defensive line, David Onyemata, Brandon Dorless, Laquale London, Rook Orhororo, and Zach Harrison. Edge rushers, Arnold Ebiketie, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Braylon Trice, and D'Angelo Malone. Inside backer, you've got Caden Ellis, Divine Diablo, JD Bertrand, and Josh Woods. And did you want to jump in, Des?
Yeah, Braylon Trice injured, so...
okay, yeah. So he's listed on this, so...
Yeah, so he's seemingly he's had a reoccurrence of the knee injury that he had last year. So
Okay.
I think he's going to IR with the potential that he might actually have to have surgery again, and it'll be a season ending.
Right. Okay.
So effectively that will bring somebody up from the practice squad. So
Hmm. So
that's
if
not
that's a
that's not the best. And again, D'Angelo Malone, I'm not a big fan of that. I think D'Angelo Malone's had enough time in Atlanta to show what he can and can't do. And at the moment, it's mostly he can't do.
Mhm.
Listen, he's the Atlanta Falcons. I support him 100%, but we have to be honest. If we want this team to be great, we need to call out where we see the weaknesses.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo Malone, I don't think should be on this team. I would have rather much had Khalid Kareem.
Mhm.
Um, I think um, I always look at the how long you've been with the team. If you've been with the
Yeah.
team for some time and you're then you're still not make a difference, then it's time to bring somebody else in. Khalid Kareem's come in here. He's only been here pre-season and he made a difference. So you
Mhm.
imagine what he would be like with the same amount of time in this team as what D'Angelo Malone
Yeah.
had.
And oh no, and that is one silver lining, at least to the fact that obviously we can elevate a player from the practice squad, as you can then, if it's edge rusher you're talking about, which is where Trice is listed, then bring Khalid Kareem back into the mix. Let's see what that new, let's see what all that meat protein you've been eating in the A will, if it does you any good.
And again, well, that's probably what's going to happen. Braylon Trice will probably they'll probably bring in Khalid Kareem. So again, that the issue is you don't know when this all happened, so they don't
Mhm.
need to divulge it. They will from next Wednesday. So from
Mhm.
next Wednesday, we been game week, they'll need to divulge all this. So,
Yeah.
but we don't know when Braylon Trice had the injury, when it happened. But we just don't know. You know what I
No.
mean? So effectively, all this stuff's hidden until it has to be divulged, which is now. So they're having to now say this.
Yeah. Um, and this is the thing. There's so many names that we are just now reacting to. Like as you say, Ricky, Lakeil London. There were some names that were right on the right on the cusp. We
Oh
weren't
yeah,
quite sure, will they make it? Will they be practice squad? And that's one of the names I'm glad to see, because that was a name that we did call out a few times during the watch parties, Des, as well. So
yeah.
shout out to Lakeil London. Congratulations to him as well. As I say, we love to see the guys making it from the edges. I mean, everybody loves to see the starters, the guys that they know year after year are going to be flying the flag for the team. But I'm just as excited to see the guys that are chomping at the bit to kind of make those last few spots up. I just want to see who we are going to be putting on the field. So this is a really exciting time of the season for us. And that's why, as I say, we're happy to keep the content coming as much
Yeah,
as I say, we're at 2.5 hours and
I
we
mean,
could have easily hit 3. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, literally, we could probably go 4 hours easy.
mhm.
Um, but unfortunately, I've got a business to run in the morning, and yeah, Mother Nature kind of creeps up with you when you get to my age. You do
Yeah.
need your beauty sleep.
No, I
So
appreciate that. So what I'll do, like we've covered everything else, so I've only really got one more question to pose to you, then Des, before we start to wind it down, and I can even do the shout outs if you want to head off. But
no, not at
what
all, not at all, mate.
right. Well, thank you so much for keeping me company for so long, because we appreciate it. As I say, this without this man's grind, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be awake right now. Put it that way. He's keeping me going, so there's something to be said in that. So
Yeah,
that's why you can't beat a good double act. So
absolutely,
here's
mate,
my
absolutely.
question, and here's my question to you then. So we let him scheme, we let him cook. Preseason is over, and it's time to roll on to the regular. Week 1 against the Bucks. How's our roster stacked up against? How do you see our initial roster stack up against the rest of the league? First off, and secondly, do you think we can win week 1? I know we've got injuries, but so too do they. So, do you think it's a win, a loss, or one of these infrequent ties?
Um, y- Yeah, I'm going for a win week one. I think they've got more injury concerns than we have. But yeah, it's as Michael Penix Jr. says, this offense should be unstoppable. We remember the last unstoppable offense we had took us right to the Super Bowl, and effectively we were a few minutes away from winning the thing. So again, that's what we need to see. We need to see this offense as good as we believe it's going to be. I mean, it's took them so many years to build this offense. You look at the defense as well. I'm excited about the defense, which again, listen, everybody watching that, I guarantee you, none of you guys, gals, none of you have ever looked at a team, an Atlanta Falcons team, in probably the last decade and a half, and looked at the defense and thought, I'm really excited to see what this defense can do. And I'm really excited. I mean, we're at a point where I'm looking at the practice squad, some of the players in the practice squad for the offense and the defense, and I'm saying to myself, I can't wait to see these guys play. This is like the Kobe Bryants and the Nick Nashes. You know, I mean, I want to see what they can do on the park.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember looking at a practice squad and somebody would call out a name of a player and I'd go, who? Who's that? You know what I mean? These are, I mean, the practice squad is stout. There's some questions on how things are going to go on the offensive line, and you've still got certain positions that are question marks. You can still look at Clark Phillips being on the starter, being in the 53 man, whether he deserved to be there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players that you can question. You know what I mean? But as you say, Terry's cooked, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do. I mean, listen, we know it's going to fall flat in its face because it's Atlanta Falcons, but I'm excited. Sure you
That's
are.
The thing. That's it. We're going to shoot for the moon, and even if we miss, we're going to land among the stars. That's just how we roll.
Absolutely.
But what I'll do, there's a comment which I'm going to use as a nice wee point to segue. Just going to piggyback you here, Ricky. I hope you don't mind. So he got off till next Wednesday, so he's definitely catching up on all the podcasts he's missed. So thank you for starting here. We're thrilled as always to have you, and you've had some great takes tonight. As I say, you're one of the frequent flyers, whether you choose to appear on the panel or not. We know you're more a behind the scenes guy, but your input is always cherished. And that goes for all of you down in the chat. So I've got a couple of closing things just to kind of run by you while we finish up. So we would, as always, we would encourage you to join the Kilted Revolution. So for more info, for show times, etc., just contact Maggie, myself, contact Des as well. We're on all the socials. Well, Des is only on X, but we'll get into that when we do the socials bit. But as I say, get in touch. We don't bite hard, and as I say, all we come here to do is talk birds and have some fun. We know it's going to be an exciting season, so if you want to join us, then messages and let's get it done. So if anybody does have any closing questions, I would encourage you to make it quick because you're on the last few drops of the dregs of the energy tank for Des. But if you do have maybe one or two wee questions before we close out, guys, then drop them down. As I say, we'll do our best to always catch every comment as much as we can. Even the hate-filled ones, because we do all for haters.
And again, shout out to everybody it's constant all the time. We're getting discussions, messages all the time. So again, really appreciate everybody who watches the show. Whether you support the Falcons or not, we're still living rent free in your head. So
yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, as I say, there's also a kind of a plan for 2025. I did see one person earlier on in the group. They shouted out Michael Jenkins, which would be a good one because he was Matty Ice's first ever touchdown pass. So that's something that we can maybe try to get in the pipeline for you. So if you do have any special guests as well, that all ties into it. So any more new topics that you want us to cover, anything around the league that you think we should be covering, if it's a college football issue, as I say, we are just happy to talk football. That's the be all and end all. So anything that you want us to do or you want us to cover, that we are more than happy to do it. And on that note, I've not had the chance, and you know how much I love to flash off my pretty new graphics. So if you do have one or two questions, now's the time, guys. So we'll field one or two more, and then we'll round it out for the night. If you do have anything for us.
Absolutely. And while we're waiting, if anybody wants to find me, I'm on X, so effectively find me at Scottish Falcon. I would probably leave it another 7 or 8 hours before you message me because I'm going to Zaza land. So we're 12 minutes past 1 in the morning, 12 minutes past 11 at night in Scotland. So it feels like 1 in the morning. So
yeah, no, a shift has been put in, but we appreciate that. As I say, the fans are always glad to see you, and the amount that you sacrifice for the channel can't be understated. So thank you again for sharing the space with me, because without you, there is no Scottish Falcons, mate. You're the original and best. So as I say, and and then as I say, all the love and all the appreciation goes back to you, our AFN family. So I've got 1 week closing little bit here for you as always. Before I say my time tested closing statement now at this point, 18 episodes, mate. But yeah, join the AFN family. Doesn't that look like a pretty wee perch? So I join the squad, because you know, and I know, and everybody knows that we love our ATL.
Absolutely.
And remember also that pain is international, but so is passion. Thanks for keeping it real. Thanks for keeping it dirty. Thanks for keeping it here with us.
Good night,
we love
guys.
you all. Good night.